Through Post-Impressionism, Vincent van Gogh used the Starry Night to replace quiet, realistic landscapes with thick, swirling psychological chaos. As it turns out, losing his mind made for a much better view. When people think of Vincent van Gogh, they picture the wild, chaotic genius. But to understand the genius, you have to understand where he came from and what drove him over the edge. Let's rewind it back to the beginning. Vincent was born in Zundert, Netherlands, in 1853. He grew up in a deeply religious home. His father was a Protestant minister, which instilled in him a lifelong search for spiritual meaning. He was a man of intense passion, but also incredible isolation. The one anchor throughout his entire life, his younger brother Theo. Theo wasn't just his brother. He was Vincent's financial backer, art dealer, absolute confidant, and emotional lifeline. So what were the triggers that broke him? It was a perfect storm: extreme isolation, severe financial dependency on Theo, malnutrition, heavy drinking, overwork, and intense interpersonal conflict, most famously with painter Paul Gauguin. In December 1888, after a brutal argument with Gauguin in Arles, Vincent suffered a catastrophic breakdown and severed part of his left ear. Realizing he was spiraling and terrified of his own mind, he took a drastic step in May 1889. He voluntarily committed himself to the asylum of Saint-Paul-de-Moselle near Saint-Rémy-de-Provence. Now here's where popular history gets it completely wrong. People assume Vincent painted the Starry Night in the middle of a screaming, psychotic episode. He didn't. He painted it during a period of calm recovery. When Vincent arrived at Saint-Paul-de-Moselle, he actually lived surprisingly well. Officially diagnosed with epileptic fits and paranoia, he was granted more freedom than almost any other patient. Accompanied by staff, he could leave the grounds, he could read, retreat into his room, and he was even given an extra ground floor room to use strictly as a painting studio. For his first 2 months, he was deemed remarkably stable. And during this window of calm, something fascinating happened to his palette: a tonal shift. As his mental health fluctuated, Vincent began dipping back into the darker, moodier colors from his early career in Holland. The Starry Night is the ultimate example of this shift. Deep, moody blues dominate the canvas, seamlessly blending the distant rolling hills straight into the night sky. The small village below sits nestled in quiet browns, grays, and blues, each building cleanly outlined in black. Against this dark backdrop, the vibrant yellows and whites of the stars and crescent moon explode off the canvas, acting as the ultimate attention grabbers that pull your eye upward. Look closely at the brushstrokes. In the sky, they swirl and roll with the clouds, echoing around the glowing stars and moon. On the cypress tree, they bend and curve with the natural flow of the branches. The entire effect is ethereal, fluid, and dreamlike. The hills roll softly down toward the town. But then, look at the village itself. In stark contrast, the town is built with straight, rigid, vertical lines that interrupt the organic flow of the brushstrokes. It's the unnatural world colliding with nature. But notice how tiny, soft trees are rolled through the town to soften that inflexibility, bringing nature straight into human construction. Here's the biggest shocker. This scene came almost entirely from Van Gogh's imagination. Vincent was a man who religiously painted what was directly in front of his eyes. Yet none of this scenery matches the actual landscape surrounding St. Paul, nor does it match the view from his barred window. It was a massive, remarkable break from his normal style. So, why? This contrast plays on a deeper philosophical theme: nature versus the unnatural, dreams versus reality, and humanity versus the divine. Vincent grew up in a religious household, and many art historians link this sky directly to Genesis 37:9, where Joseph says, "Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me." Think about that. Joseph dreamed of stars bowing to him, predicting his family would one day recognize his destiny, even though they doubted him. For Vincent, whose family, except Theo, constantly doubted his artistic career, if you divide the canvas into 3 vertical zones, the spiritual blueprint becomes clear: the sky, the divine, swirling, unreal, dreamlike, beyond human comprehension; the nature, the bridge, the cypress tree, hills, and ground trees bend and swirl in soft angles that echo the sky; the village, the human world, rigid straight lines separating it from the heavens. Yet Van Gogh doesn't leave the village abandoned. Look at those soft green trees dotted through the streets, and look at the church spire reaching high into the swirling cosmos. How does he bridge the gap? Through art and nature, Van Gogh literally brings God down to the village. Unfortunately, this period of calm didn't last. Shortly after finishing the Starry Night, Vincent relapsed. He was hit with severe hallucinations, paranoid fits, and deep depression, plunging his work into even darker emotional territory before his death just a year later in 1890. The Starry Night wasn't a desperate, chaotic scream created during a breakdown. It was a calculated, brilliant moment of clarity from an artist in a quiet studio cell, taking all his trauma, his religious upbringing, his isolation, and his love for his brother, and translating it into a vision of the cosmos. He took a rigid, quiet world below and connected it forever to the infinite heavens above. Art is always open to interpretation, so I want to hear yours. Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Until next time on Chris Explains Art.